What's going on, YouTube? My name's Kid. I'm a certified independent Harley Davidson technician, and today I'm gonna give my best shot at making my first YouTube video. So let's get it. All right, quick introduction of me. I currently live on the sun, also known as Phoenix, Arizona. Today is a temperature of 106 degrees and I'm on struggle bus in my garage. Unfortunately, I have my swamp cooler off. I didn't want you guys to struggle to hear me, so there's that. So I'm already making sacrifices, so I would appreciate any support you guys give. All right, I served in the Army for 8 years. After I got medically discharged, I went ahead and used my benefits to go to the Motorcycle Mechanics Institute here in Phoenix, Arizona. I graduated, I believe it was 2024 at the very beginning. Worked at a Harley Davidson dealership for a little bit as a lot tech. Didn't really see any progression there, so I decided to step away and do my own thing. So a lot of stuff, I follow a lot of influencers that I believe know what they're talking about. I have a long beard, so that kind of makes me credible with some of this information. But I've been working on Harleys, all my friends and family, for about 2 years. I've learned a lot. I've done some big builds, some big repair orders, and so now we're just starting this whole social media thing. So I wanted to do this series like a performance bagger, but on a budget. So you see a lot of these guys out here building these baggers and they have no budget. Unfortunately, I'm not one of those guys. Like I said, I'm an Army vet. I actually don't even work right now. I go to school full time, so there's that. So I have a lot of time on my hands. Like I have a wife, she yells at me every time I buy a very expensive bike part. So we're gonna go through those struggles as well. So pretty much this series is gonna be building a performance bagger on a budget, but not on a budget. What I mean by that is, am I gonna put Timu suspension on my Road Glide? Probably not. I want, good value, but I also want performance and reliability. The last thing we wanna do is have a bike that looks super cool and then it just broke down on the side of the road because I decided to use an Amazon shift linkage. So we're not gonna do that stuff. There might be some Amazon parts, I've had Amazon parts in the past work out pretty well, but I'm kind of wary when it comes to those things. So I'm gonna show you what we're working with. So this is a 2024 Road Glide. There's nothing special about it. When I got it, the only thing that was done to it was the little crash bars, and they added a shift linkage for a heel shifter. So basically bone stock. And what we're gonna do is build it up as we can. Again, we have a budget, sort of, we really do. So we're gonna start with that. So some of the things that I already done to it is to kind of give you a vision of what I want to do with it. I sent a couple parts for powder coat to make sure that the powder coat was actually going to come out. This color is actually called Diablo Candy Red. Absolutely love the color. I think it's a powder coat that I'm going to dedicate to. So all this chrome is going to go away. As far as suspension, I'm debating on Olin's or Legends. I ran Legends on my lowrider ST. I had a lowrider before this Road Glide, and then I totaled it, right? And so what the funny thing is, the way I totaled it. So I was riding on the freeway, and I saw something in the road. It looked like a piece of tire. Well, unfortunately, it was not a piece of tire. It was a whole drive shaft. So it ended up bending my wheel. It took out my oil pan, and the insurance ended up totaling it. I kept it up. I hit that drive shaft at full speed. I'm not gonna disclose the speed, in case my insurance is watching, but I was booking it at the speed limit, of course. Make sure to write that down. So unfortunately, my bike got totaled. I did a lot of cool stuff on that bike, but we're gonna start fresh. I think this is the perfect platform to work on, and this is my setup. So I bought this while I was in MMI. Like I said, I do a lot of work for my friends and family. So they don't want to spend the money on the dealer. I don't blame them, especially with a lot of these dealerships are more focused on the bottom dollar. This is my tool set. A lot of it's snap-on. Am I in a whole bunch of tool debt? Absolutely not. So what I did when I was a student was I bought these tools one at a time throughout my whole like year and a half that I was here. So I walked out of MMI with no tool debt, and I ended up getting a good set of tools. You know, I got a couple specialty tools, like, you know, just your basic M8 cam install tools, things of that nature. A lot of the guys that I know, they use me as their main technician to work on their bike. I haven't had really any issues. I've done a whole bunch of cam jobs. I had to replace both heads on one of my buddy's bikes because he blew the ACR out of his head, and that sucks. So if you ever hear your bike do a choo-choo train on the freeway, it's a good sign that your ACR blew out and you're gonna have to replace the head. Let's see. Yeah, I think this is pretty much it. Let's see, a couple things that I'm wanting to do. These stock handlebars, they gotta go. I think I'm gonna go with a Kraus setup. I was looking at the Kraus low bend bars, and I wasn't really a fan of the sweep. But when I say sweep, I mean pretty much the end of the handlebars, how far they come back. I made the mistake and I ran a Thrashin Supply aggressive bend bar. I'm sure if I was stunning, it would have been great. But just riding to work one day, it was absolutely terrible. So I learned my lesson. So I think what I'm gonna end up doing is doing the Kraus risers. I'm not a fan of doing solid mounts. I got hand issues, and you know, if you like solid mount bushings, you know, that's awesome. Me, I'm not that guy. So I like the Kraus bars because they keep their bushings at the top of their risers, kind of right below your bars, but you still have a solid mount in the trees. So that's what we're gonna do. And then as we do take parts off the bike, we'll go ahead and send them to get off and go get powder coated. Like the engine will get done when I do the cam install. The transmission cover will get done whenever I do like the Mueller power clutch. You'll see there's some good tools in this build, or not tools, parts in this build. And so I'm willing to spend money on good parts. I'm one of those guys that likes to do buy once, cry once. But if I could save money on maybe an off-brand part that's gonna do just as good as a name brand part, I'm gonna do it. As long as it's good quality. I've bought plenty of parts on Amazon that were a great value. I've never had issues. But again, when it comes to Amazon and kind of knockoff parts, if it could leave me stranded, I ain't gonna do it. Yeah, you guys can kind of let me know what you guys want to see, and then like I said, I'll just build this bike up, you know, as a regular dude, you know, that might have to save a little bit, but I'm gonna get this bike up pretty quick. So I have a vision, especially with this powder coat, and I know a guy that knows how to paint, so we'll save some money there. You know, it's always good to have friends that you could trade with for me to do work on their Harley, and they'll paint my whole bike. You know, can't go wrong with that. So again, we're gonna look to save money where we can, but we're not gonna compromise the build. So I appreciate you guys watching. I look forward to building this bike with you guys, and I'll see you on the next one. Almost forgot. If you want to go ahead and follow my Instagram is Kid the Harley Tech. There's some good content of, you know, some of the work orders I've done. You can also see some pictures of what happens when you mix a drive shaft on the bottom of your Harley Davidson. My lowrider is on there. If you want to give me some constructive criticism in the comments, I'm more than happy to hear from it. If you're a hater, I'm probably going to ignore you, but I'd be happy if you comment though, boost this video. I would really appreciate it. But yeah, thanks again guys for tuning in. We'll see you on the next one.